guys, so last night I had the chance to stay in this incredible A-frame meets treehouse, an A-frame elevated up in the trees out here in Texas, and I cannot wait to show you around this property and most importantly inside of this beautiful A-frame cabin. So let's go show you around. Alright guys, so welcome to the inside of the Hive Treehouse. So yes, as I said earlier, this is an A-frame cabin, but it is designed and built very much so like a treehouse. So this A-frame cabin is built up in the trees. It's elevated about 10 or 12 feet up in the air, and it very much so feels like a treehouse. It was definitely designed with that intention to be kind of right in the midst of all of these trees on this beautiful property. In fact, there's even this big tree coming right through the deck on this front part, and it provides a great canopy and tons of shade for that deck, for the outdoor living area, for that hammock out on the front side of the deck. So before I give you a quick tour of the inside of the Hive, I want to walk you through what it's like walking up to this beautiful treehouse. So when you get to the Skybox Cabins property and you find your designated parking spot for the Hive, you're going to walk down this beautiful stone walkway that the owners Evan and Kristen built. It's not a far walk, it's probably about 20 or 30 steps down, but you go down this little winding trail and you get to the beginning of that wraparound deck. You're gonna go down a couple steps and you're gonna get to that beautiful wraparound deck. And this is when you're gonna start to see the shape of that A-frame cabin. And the cool thing is that you're basically arriving on the backside. So it's kind of building that anticipation of what there is to see inside. So you're gonna get to that front door on the right-hand side. So that is a dedicated entrance to the treehouse. But if you'd like, you can actually take the walk around deck around to the right-hand side and you're going to see this beautiful front porch or front deck. And this is where we have that outdoor living area with seating for 4 people. And then in that far corner, kind of the bump out of the deck, if you will, we have that beautiful built-in hammock. It's basically this, I don't know, 8 by 5 foot cutout in the deck, and they have this really strong netting there. I think it has about a 400-pound limit, so don't push it, don't test it, because it is about a 10 or 12 foot drop. I'm sure that wouldn't be too fun, but super, super nice place to just relax, enjoy the sunset. Right now at this time of the year, the sun is setting directly in front of the Hive A-frame treehouse, so this front deck is actually a wonderful place to watch the sunset. But without further ado, let's show you the inside of the Hive A-frame treehouse. So we have this beautiful full light glass doors, double doors that you can open entirely, and that gives you a really grand entrance into the A-frame cabin. When you walk in, you're going to see that beautiful living room directly in front of you on that left-hand side. We have these 2 single chairs and a 3-person couch, and we have this beautiful wood coffee table. We have a handful of books down there. Actually, I noticed that they have one of the books that I recently read called Where the Crawdads Sing. I read that last year. Recommend it, definitely a good read. And we have a handful of board games like Scrabble. So if you come with your significant other or friends and family, then you have a way to stay entertained. One thing to note about the Hive is that because we're kind of down into this little valley on this property, you don't get amazing cell reception out here, and there isn't Wi-Fi, which honestly, depending on how you look at it, can be a great bonus. I actually enjoyed it myself. I had some downtime to read and just really enjoy being out here in nature and enjoying the sunset, enjoying a nice cup of coffee this morning without distractions from text messages and emails and whatnot. So depending on how you look at it, it can definitely provide a great environment to unplug and disconnect. On the right-hand side on this ground level, we have this beautiful little kind of built-in breakfast nook or dining table. It provides a great place to have a meal, to have some coffee, to read a book, or even do some work. I did a little bit of work last night. I just did a little bit of editing. I really like the design choice to build out this little bump out into the A-frame angle. Honestly, it feels a lot bigger when you're inside of this A-frame cabin. We have a 16-foot ceiling in the very center of the house. From any vantage point, you can see the ceiling, and it really makes the space feel a lot larger than that. I would say that this space feels somewhere in between 600 and 700 square feet, even though we're on that smaller footprint. Now moving on to the rest of the A-frame cabin on the ground floor, on that far left-hand side, we have this little U-shaped kitchen. It's a pretty basic kitchen, but it has everything you guys would need for a weekend stay here, even a week-long stay. They do have a single burner induction cooktop that you guys can pull out. It's currently stored underneath, but you can pull it out and put it on top of the counter. They have pots, pans, basically anything you would need to cook a meal here. They have this nice kind of breakfast nook or bar top on that left-hand side with these two stools. Super comfortable space to have your breakfast, have some cereal. I had cereal this morning for the first time in a very long time, though I decided to eat it on this breakfast nook, which is probably my favorite spot in the house. Moving on, we have a nice good-sized sink, good size to do your dishes. I know that's something that people think you usually compromise on in a tiny house or a tiny space, but I'm glad that they made space for it here. We have a nice coffee machine, a mini fridge, a microwave, coffee, tea, sugar, creamer, whatever you guys need. They definitely keep this kitchen well stocked and you're not gonna be missing anything from home. Directly across from the kitchen, we have a little bit of dead space. They basically have a private closet there that they keep locked with, I'm sure, cleaning supplies and whatnot. But if you're envisioning this space as a full-time residence, then you can imagine having that extra space as closet space, storage space, whatever you guys need. And on the far right-hand corner, we have the bathroom kind of split into two different sections. On the left side, we have the toilet with its own closable door, and on the right-hand side, we have the rest of the bathroom with a sink and vanity and a beautiful tile shower. I have no idea where they got this tile, but I'm in love. I love the way that it looks, and it provides that great pop of color to the white walls. I'm a huge fan of separating that bathroom into its two functional spaces. I think more tiny houses, more normal spaces should do this, especially when you live with somebody else or you're coming here with more people. It's great to separate that bathroom so someone can go and use the toilet and someone else can be showering or someone else can be doing their makeup or hair in that right side of the bathroom. It's just a no-brainer. I don't see why more spaces don't do that, but I'm really glad that Evan and Kristen went with that design in the Hive. And then last but not least, another one of my favorite spots is this incredible loft bedroom upstairs. You're gonna take these beautiful wooden stairs. It's solid wood, super thick stuff. Now, one thing to note is that the stairs are a little bit steep. It's not an issue, you know, it's easy going up and honestly pretty easy coming down as well. Just a suggestion to be careful, use the handrails that they provide and should be good. So up there in that loft bedroom, as I said earlier, it measures about 10 by 10.5 feet. So honestly, a really good size footprint up there. You can stand up there, which is a massive plus. That's one of my favorite things about A-frames is because the ceiling is so high in the center, 16 feet in this particular A-frame treehouse. You can stand pretty much all around the bed. Just makes it a lot easier to move around the bed up there. You can sit up in the bed, read a book, and not have to, you know, be careful of hitting the roof above your head, which I have to in my particular, you know, loft in my tiny house. I love that they left that railing open. Of course, you know, running the wires through so that it's safe, but it allows for natural light to come from the bottom and flow up, as well as provide natural light from that window up in the bedroom loft to flow down, and just it makes the space feel a lot bigger and a lot brighter in here at all times of the day. And that's pretty much it up there in the loft. When you walk back down towards that railing, I think that's probably my favorite vantage point of the A-frame treehouse, is that view from up in the loft, looking down on the living room over here, looking down on this little breakfast dining table, and being able to see this incredible view outside, being able to see the deck from up there, and of course these two massive windows up at the very top really opens up the space. I'm glad that they built that in there. Sometimes I see some A-frames that have that completely covered, and I think it just wastes an opportunity to bring even more natural light and a view to the loft bedroom, and I'm really glad that they went with that. So that is pretty much it, guys. That was the Hive A-frame treehouse out here at Skybox Cabins in Glen Rose, Texas. Glen Rose is only about an hour south of Dallas. It was a 2.5 hour drive from Austin, so still pretty accessible. And honestly, I even told Evan yesterday when I met him, I was like, man, I've never been west of 35 on the way to Dallas. This is completely uncharted territory for me. I've lived in Texas my entire life. I was born and raised in Austin and had never been out here. And I am blown away by how similar this looks to the Texas Hill Country right outside of Austin, in particular Dripping Springs. It's almost an identical just copy of that, or vice versa. It's beautiful out here, unsuspecting. I'd never heard of Glen Rose, but I'm really glad that I was able to make the trip out here to come visit the Hive. I will be back in a couple of weeks to tour some of the other houses here on the property, so I'm really excited to now have a familiar sense of what there is to do around here, and really excited to make it back out here. But before I let you guys go, I just wanted to give you a little bit of a quick backstory on the Hive Treehouse, on Evan and Kristen, the owners of Skybox Cabin. So this particular treehouse is actually their 5th project here at Skybox Cabins. They have 4 other houses for rent, and they also have glamping tents here. So if that's something that you're interested in doing or checking out, then they also have those available to rent. I will leave all of the Airbnb links in the description below so you guys can check them out and see if they have any availability in the coming months. So back in 2015, Evan was pursuing a professional rodeo career. He had a really successful year, and they were able to purchase this property about 6 years ago. And they built their first cabin, started renting it out on the weekends, and slowly started to gain traction. People started to get really excited about coming out here. And over the last couple years, they've built a couple more of these little tree houses, and this is their latest creation, the Hive. I'm just really impressed with what Evan and Kristen have been able to build and create out here. All of their tree houses and cabins are incredibly unique, all very different from each other. I got a chance to meet Evan and his 2 beautiful kids and their 2 pups, Twinkie and Ace. They have a bunch of other animals on the property that you guys will probably see at some point. They also have a trail that runs around the entire property. It's about a 1.2 mile loop, but I will say that I just got lost about an hour ago. They have signs up, they have arrows marking everywhere, but I was filming out there. I was filming the horses, filming the cows. I got lost. I made it back here. We're safe and sound, but definitely suggest going out and checking out that little trail during your stay here. It runs around their entire 50-acre property. Most likely you'll probably run into one of their horses or one of their cows, and it's just a beautiful property out here, and they've done a wonderful job of creating a private space for each of their cabins, each of their tree houses, but still giving you a sense that you're not the only one out here, which can be a little eerie for some people, but it's really nice. All the cabins or the tree houses are connected by this little trail running around the property. I'm just really excited to have a chance to come back here and enjoy it just a little bit more. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed this tour of the A-frame treehouse. If you enjoyed this video, I would greatly appreciate it if you left this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel so that we can continue connecting with people that be interested in these tiny house tours, as well as referring you to other tiny house creators in this space. I hope you guys have a good one, and I will see you in the next one.